Anthony Williams, 32, from Peterborough, has been charged with 10 counts of attempted murder, 1 count of actual bodily harm and 1 count of possession of a bladed article. And that's following a knife attack on a train in Cambridgeshire on Saturday. This is from the British Transport Police. So that news just in literally the last minute. Anthony Williams, 32, from Peterborough, been charged with 10 counts of attempted murder, 1 count of actual bodily harm and 1 count of possession of a bladed article.
We've got the Transport Secretary now available, Heidi Alexander, on this one. Miss Alexander, you've heard that news that has just come in about that man being charged, Anthony Williams. Anything you'd like to say?
Well, I would like to thank the efforts of the British Transport Police over the last 40 hours because they've worked at speed and have been in discussions with the Crown Prosecution Service, and I'm pleased to see that these charges have now been brought. I would also like to start by thanking the onboard train crew, the driver, the emergency services, the police, and also some of the passengers whose response on Saturday night demonstrated some incredible bravery, some incredible presence of mind. In particular, I would like to extend my best wishes to the family of the LNER staff member who is critically ill in hospital this morning. I'm told he's in a critical but stable condition. That individual went to work on Saturday morning in order just to do his job, and he ended his shift as a hero. And I have spoken to people who have reviewed the CCTV footage from the train. He literally put himself in harm's way to protect passengers, and I have no doubt that there are people alive today who wouldn't be had he not done what he did. And so on behalf of the government, and I suspect on behalf of the British people, I'd like to extend my gratitude to him for everything that he did.
Yeah, incredible bravery there. Just such a horrific incident, and conversations this morning about whether we should see airport-style security at train stations to stop an attack like this happening again. Or do we need to change the law to allow people to use pepper spray to defend themselves?
So I'm not convinced that airport-style security is the right response to this horrific incident. Thankfully, incidents like this on the rail network are very, very rare. We are increasing the patrols of the British Transport Police in visible locations at big stations in the next couple of days to provide reassurance. We're also investing in improvements to CCTV so that the British Transport Police can remotely access the video footage at stations that is captured by CCTV, and we want to make better use of facial recognition technology as well. When it comes to airport-style security, I think a lot of people realise that we've got thousands of railway stations across the country. When you think of your own local station, there will often be multiple entrances to that station and even more platforms. And so what I don't want is the one-off acts of people like this individual to actually then make life so much more inconvenient for everyone else. I don't think it's practical to introduce airport-style security at our railway stations, but that's not to say that I don't understand why people are asking this, and that's also not to say that we aren't reviewing security on the rail network, as we do as a matter of course, and we will do, obviously, after this incident as well.
It's interesting, Heidi, that you just said there, you know, you're not there to make things more inconvenient. A lot of people would say, well, by carrying out those actions, you're just making things much more safe.
So I want our railways to be a safe space. The British Transport Police are dedicated to policing the railways. We have to make sure that we deploy those resources that we've got effectively and efficiently. I think most reasonable people, whilst they will be absolutely horrified by what happened on Saturday night, will recognise that given the nature of the rail network, introducing those sorts of airport-style scanners is not realistic, but that's not to say that we are in any way complacent about the safety and security of the travelling public. We need to crack down on fare evasion to make sure that people aren't accessing the network who shouldn't be there. If people are seeing things that are happening on trains that they're concerned about, they should just text the British Transport Police on 61016. We've got those mechanisms in place to make sure that the public can report things that they're feeling unsure about, and I'd encourage any of your viewers to do that if they are on a train and are feeling unsure.
Yeah, utterly terrifying, and the almost randomness of it, I think, is something else that's terrifying. And you just said then, Eamon, in terms of like, you know, what next, where next, and it does add to a sense. I think a lot of people in this country, and it's very, I do like to steer away from like politicising things that are horrific like this, but it does probably add to a sense that a lot of people feel in this country unsafe. It doesn't feel like a safe country at the moment. Was it ever? You know, is that always just, you know, a feeling and that concern? But I think things have got worse and things have changed, and sometimes there is a random violence that is under the surface a lot of the time, and a lot of people will be getting on public transport today and they will feel scared.
Yeah.
And that's not right.
But what can you do to police that? I mean, if we're talking about random acts of violence, if we're
you could put scanners on railway stations, for instance. I mean, there's lots of things I think, well, we can't do that because we're British and whatever it is. Put a scanner, detect a knife or a gun for anybody boarding a train. That's what I think.
Yeah. I mean, that's a common sense approach, you'd think. I think the other thing as well, which is maybe a harder pill in a way to swallow, is that we probably need to think about things like stop and search more. I think there are, you know, as you sit here in London, for example, you know, knife crime and violent crime has completely spun out of control. And it has done for many years.
You know, you've just opened a political can of worms there, whatever it is. And I think, you know, I would be, if a police officer stopped and searched me, would I have an issue? No. I wouldn't have an issue with it. I think, there you go, there you are. But that's the situation.
And look, like,
but it's politicised. That is politicised.
It is politicised. But, you know, when people, if you speak to the mother of, you know, let's say her child who's been, you know, stabbed to death, and we see that to horrific numbers in major cities across this country, including London. If you ask that mother, would you have liked a police officer to been out there who stops and searched the person who killed your son? I mean, that's the end of it, as far as I'm aware. So I think we do need to be tougher. We do need things like stop and search. I think the problem with the scanning thing, if I was to just, is that it can, like, you're almost punishing, and I use that term loosely, those that you're inconveniencing, and for the bad apples, if you like. We all have to go. Law-abiding citizens who just want to get on with their life all have to suffer an inconvenience.
Well, Oscar, I would say it's better than being dead.
Well, I would agree. I just had to kind of give that devil's advocate. But I would agree. But how depressing.